How's it going, folks? Marty's back. Been a bit of a clip again. Sorry about that. Way it goes. On a positive note, after this collection update, I am going to start doing a weekly segment. I hope it to be weekly. Every Friday, I think I'm going to pick a album and or band of the week to talk about. These will typically be shorter videos. But hopefully it'll turn you on to some music that you like and maybe not have heard, but you'll like. Until then, I wanted to try to catch up with some of the stuff that's been coming in and piling up. Before we get going too crazy, in the background, what we're listening to is the amazing Ken Nardi from Anacrusis fame. This is a 2 CD set put out by Tribunal and Dive Bomb Records. You know, I bought this thing with a lot of apprehension. So Anacrusis is one of my favorite thrash bands, select albums, and hearing that he did this solo album, I of course was intrigued. And upon listening to a couple songs online, finding out that it was mostly all drum machine, it's kind of turned off initially. But you know, buying the package, buying this set, come to find out that it's so well written, in the Anacrusis vein, of course. His unique screaming style, unique singing style. The music's really good. The production's really good. Yeah, you can tell the drums are fake, but you quickly absorb the sound and tend to forget about it. But if you're into Anacrusis and you have not heard this collection, I don't know, it might be getting a little hard to find right now, but definitely pick this up. I've had this a while, and love it. Good shit. 2 CD set. Check it out. I've got a lot of shit to get through, so I'm going to try to just rip through it. Speaking of rip, I got 2 CDs here I picked up from Hell's Headbangers. Ripakolu. The Ulveja and Musta something or other. Anyway, a lot of people have talked about this band. I never heard them. Svart reissued this stuff recently-ish, I believe. But this album, holy shit. Super great, old school, Finnish death metal. Really dark, dismal, downtrodden. Just really great from the late 80s, early 90s era. Very good sound. This one, kind of hard to see it. It's kind of hard to even tell it's the same band, to be honest. This is a 3-song EP, I'm assuming. More doom-laden. Definitely more doom-oriented. It's still good, but for my money, this is definitely the one people have been talking about, and definitely for good reason. Good shit. Check them out. Got a little bit of a thrash pile here. This just came today. Holy Terror. Total Terror. This is a 3 CD set and a DVD. It has Terror and Submission, Mind Wars, El Revenjo, and Live. There's Live as well. I think the Live one is the DVD. Nope, there's 5. There's the Live Terror, and then a disc 5 is the DVD. Live set from Milwaukee, Chicago. Looking forward to seeing it. You know, I have Terror and Submission and Mind Wars on multiple formats. I basically bought this cool collection from just for the El Revenjo and the Live stuff and the DVD. But this is on that, what label is this? This is the same label that did the Primal Fear collection that I did, that I bought and talked about here not too long ago. It's got like a 6 CD set. It's a really cool package. Nice big booklet. Folds out. There's a story. I'm not going to take it all out, but it's an actual jewel case. Very cool. Holy Terror. You know, what can be said about them that hasn't been said a million times? If you've never heard them, they are probably the best, one of the best thrash metal bands out there. Kurt was on the first Agent Steel album, and after getting kicked out or left, I don't know what went down exactly, he's went up to Seattle and started Holy Terror, and glad he did, because it's great shit. I may or may not have talked about these. This is Devastation. I can't remember where they're from. I want to say Illinois, but I don't know if that's true. This is a reissue on Punishment 18 Records. We got Idolatry and Signs of Life. To be completely honest, I had this on cassette when it came out, and it was during a time when I was starting to get really burnt out on thrash metal, and the guy's vocals kind of bugged me a bit. So I've had the tape. Can't really say I return to it very often, but had to pick it up because I wanted to get this one, Idolatry, which is way more aggressive and really good. Am I still working here? Yep. This is far more aggressive, a much better album. This reissue's got some bonus tracks which are all live, which, you know, you could take or leave. It's, you know, handheld recorder quality, so it's nothing great. But, you know, it's been really cool to hear this one again, and finding that I have a little bit more appreciation for it now that I'm in a thrash mood. But definitely check these out. They're pretty easy to find. I got them off of eBay for cheap. Next up. I'm kind of surprised. I've heard this band, I've heard this album a bunch over the years, but I never had a copy. This is Embalmed Existence by Resurrection. Hell's Headbanger. This is a bootleg, I think. It says Massacre Records and another record label, which I can't read on there. But this is a limited edition reissue. It's got the album and I think a demo tagged on the end. To be honest, out of the Florida death metal bands, this band always ranked real low on the list for me. I like the shit that they put on the comps. Death is Just the Beginning comps. They're good songs, but when you listen to the whole album, there's all this maniacal talking in between songs by the same guy. And to be honest, repeated listens to this album, it gets a little old because it all drags on. Music's good, you know, typical sounding Florida death metal, melodic, really tight, well fine-tuned. But, you know, bands like Brutality and the like were doing it much better than these guys. But I'm glad I got it. Corrected a great wrong. I always, for some reason, wanted this, and I got it now finally. I don't know if this is a legitimate copy or not, but I'm glad I got it. It's been cool to check out again. We'll stay with thrash here. Here's another one that evaded me over the years. I've had this band's album Suicidity on cassette since it came out. In fact, I've seen these guys on the tour with Forbidden and Death Angel back in the day. And they were great. And come to realize that I had somehow missed this album, and I picked it up on eBay for cheap because it is probably a Russian bootleg, and that's where it came from, is Russia. But for the most part, it's done fairly well. You know, if you didn't know where it came from, you would probably think it's an original copy, other than the printing on the inside is a little blurry. But Realm, Endless War. I want to say these guys are from Milwaukee. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But this album is quite a surprise. I think I like it better than Suicidity. A little more aggressive. It's got a cover on here of a Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. Total thrashed out version. Pretty interesting. Not a big Beatles fan, but it was interesting to hear they maintain their own style, yet you could tell it's a Beatles song. But this is a good album. This fucking song, Slay the Oppressor. Holy shit, what a great thrash song, man. Total eye-opening. When that's like the second track. When that thing hit, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I bought this album. Maybe it'll turn up on vinyl someday. We'll see. But until then, this is a good placeholder in my collection. This is another one that I've been wanting for years and finally pulled the trigger on. This is Scanner with Ball of the Damned and Mental Reservation. I'm a humongous fan of this band's debut, Hypertrace. It is probably one of the best power metal albums out there that isn't Halloween. Obviously, that was very Halloween influenced, yet there was a bit of their own style in the songwriting and the guitar tone and the guitar riffs. The album that followed that one, Terminal Earth, man, they kind of fell into this trying to be funny, kooky thrash stuff, and it didn't work. I didn't like that album much, but these albums, Wow, first off, the first thing is you can tell it's Scanner even though it's a different singer. And the thing that really sets this band apart from a lot of people in a lot of other bands within the genre, the power metal genre, especially in Germany, is the production. The production of these two albums is very atmospheric, meaning both albums are just totally bathed in reverb. It gives it a really kind of mystical, cool feel, and the more I spin them both, I like them. They're definitely climbing up my, favorite list for sure, especially in the Scanner collection, even though Hypertrace can't be beaten. But definitely check out Ball of the Damned and Metal Reservation. Very good stuff. Cool artwork too. Check that shit out. Very good. Glad I got those. Next, I'm a big Darkthrone fan, and though I always tend to appreciate every single Darkthrone album that hits when it comes out, there's no denying that the lasting power of new Darkthrone albums since their change, since their Fuck Off and Die. Well, actually, it kind of started on the Cult Is Alive. They started getting more black and roll and just weird. Culto changed his vocals to sound more like a drunk guy screaming at the bar. But this is an EP that I somehow missed. I've seen pictures of and always thought it was just the same shit that I already had. But this is a new wave of black heavy metal by Darkthrone. The reason why I ended up picking this up now was, well, the Bad Attitude cover is cool, and there's 2 tracks on here that were on that I can't remember which album. It's got Wisdom of the Dead, Canadian Metal, whichever one that came out on. Might have been Fuck Off and Die. It's the same music recording but with different vocal tracks. They kind of did the same thing on the Too Old Too Cold EP with Graveyard Slut, where it's a different vocal performance than what showed up on the album. But the thing that's cool about this is it still kind of retains the old Darkthrone feel. So these songs, it's amazing how just changing the vocal dynamic a little bit, like back to more of a scream black metal style, that it actually sounds like the Darkthrone that we all love. But this is a cool EP, 4 songs, Tyrant Syndicate, Peaceville, very cool. If you don't have it, check it out. I've also been diving into a ton of metal stuff lately. I've kind of been all over the place, to be honest, but I finally have filled in all the holes in my skinny puppy. God damn it! Hold on one second, I'm dropping shit. Finally filling in the holes of my Skinny Puppy collection, and I just picked up Handover and Weapon. Weapon is the latest. This one's a little more dancey. This one's a little more aggressive, but you know what? They're both good. There's no denying that since Dwayne Gottel died, Skinny Puppy has become a lot less nightmarish, a lot less interesting. But, Ogre singing, Kevin Key can still, it still sounds like Skinny Puppy. There's just a bit of more of a dancey slant to it. But yeah, they're both good albums. I finally have my collection completed other than singles and whatnot, although I do have a few singles here and there. I don't think I'm going to pursue all those. I'll just get the collection CDs when they pop up. But definitely cool. Skinny Puppy, I shouldn't have to tell too many of you what that's all about. And we got some Dungeon Synth stuff here. The new Forgotten Kingdoms album. This is a Kingdom in Ruin. Second album by Forgotten Kingdoms, and this is the guy, Argoth, I think that's his name, who does Drowning the Light. He's also the musician, instrumentalist in the band Black Funeral now. But this is his Dungeon Synth project, and his first album, I fell in love with that thing. It was like the first modern Dungeon Synth album that turned me on to the style, and I've kind of been running since then, picking up a bunch of stuff. But this is good. I don't think I like it as much as the one before it. The synth sounds seem a little more chintzy, but other than that, it's pretty well composed. I've only listened to it once. Again, it's not going to turn me away from grabbing the first album. I want to listen to this band. But this is good. Definitely check it out. My cohort in Sweden, Andreas, put both of these out on Nordvis. This is Ornatorpet. I'm probably saying that wrong, and both of them are in Swedish, I believe, but yeah. Both of this is dungeon synth styled music. This is the new album. This is a reissue of the first album. Very well composed, very good full sounding synth tones. Just good soothing music if you're into that kind of thing. This just came in from Kyle over at Out of Season. This is Fief. It's a 2 CD collection by Fief. This collects all 4 of the demos or releases in one place. This is also co-released by Foreign Sounds. As far as medieval / dungeon synth type music, Fief is probably, to me anyway, one of the best at the genre. Very clean sounding, very good instrumentation. Initially the synth sound very thin, but man, it makes it sound more authentic to me, as aping the medieval atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, completely instrumental music, 2 discs of that, very well done. Tapes are hard to find. Every time they pop up repressing, they're gone like that. So I think there's a bigger press of this CD set, so definitely check it out. I got some records. I got some stuff from my buddy Ron at a good price. I'm going to get to those next, but first off, I want to say my buddy Lance Rogers, used to write for Worm Gear Zine, good friend of mine, brother. I don't know if you remember some videos back, I showed off a brand new copy of this album that was broke in transit. I broke it in half, threw it in the garbage. Well, he snatched up a copy for me somewhere, thinking of me. Really appreciate it. Lance, if you're watching this, thanks a lot, brother. Sounds great. So now I have 2 covers and 1 good working album finally. But this, Grey Misery by Disgrace, this is finished death metal the way it needs to be done. Really crusty, a little bit of grind mixed in with the death metal. Kind of sounds like older Carcass, but with more of a Finnish death metal atmosphere and feel. One of my favorite old death metal albums right here, man. Grey Misery is great. Definitely check this out. Thanks again, Lance. Now this is the Ron stuff, and I got a bunch of, he's getting rid of some of his collection, and I got some of this shit at a great price. But first, we need to discuss his band, When Bitter Spring Sleeps. This is Coven of the Wolves, and you know, I've always had his stuff in the distro, and I guess never really give it much of a listen. And this album really impressed the hell out of me. This is 146 out of 200 on Mordgrim Records. I'm sorry, Wolfsgrim Records. This, you know, it's a one-man black metal project with a lot of pagan type feel, atmosphere to it. I'm saying atmosphere a lot today. But this album is great. It's really well composed. The guitar tone sounds like a cross between Burzum and Darkthrone. The songwriting is really well considered, and you know, Ron's voice is just really grim and great, and at times he can just sing his ass off. Definitely, if you have not heard When Bitter Spring Sleeps, you definitely need to check this out. It's really great one-man black metal, which leads us to his most recent album that came out a year or 2 ago. This is Starthrone. You may have seen Ben talk about this. But this is taking the black, pagan, atmospheric black metal approach to the next level with completely clean sung, mystical, from another dimension style clean vocals that are like really heavily reverbed out. It's something completely truly unique. The music is just flowing, melodic, really passionate and emotive. And the cool thing is, this came out on his own label, Pagan Flames. CD is still available through him, but we at Bind Rune are going to be releasing this later this year on vinyl. Definitely give this a listen on Bandcamp and hear for yourself how good this is. Completely unique. You know, it may turns some people off because of the uniqueness, but we love this. We're definitely going to put this out, so definitely keep an eye on the Bind Rune sites for information when this comes up, where it's going to be a super limited run, so keep your eyes peeled. That's not it. Okay, these are from Ron. Violent by Nature by Atrophy. I always had this on tape. Had to snap up a copy. It's completely mint. Original pressing. Love this shit. Really good aggressive thrash. Damien Thorn. I've seen this band twice over the years. The Sign of the Jackal. This is really good US power metal. And the funny thing is, I played this shortly after listening to Grim Reaper's Fear No Evil. And to be honest, they sound very similar to Grim Reaper, minus the Steve Grimmett. I mean, this guy is more of a higher pitch crooner. This guy, check out that platinum do, man. When I saw them, they were much older, and he just looked like an old guy with a platinum do. A little jealous. I'm just a little jealous. I mean, I think I could rock that, maybe. But anyway, this is a good album. Don't listen to it next to Grim Reaper because you'll be a little more underwhelmed because there's a lot of similarities in the music. Exploited, Let's Start a War. This is on PAX 18. Again, mint shape, great cover. Everything is perfect on this thing. I've always had the cassette. I like the Exploited. I feel kind of like a shithead for liking them because, you know, Waddy is such a fucking asshole. But, yeah, great stuff. Good UK punk. Halloween Keeper 2. Again, mint shape. Ron took care of his shit, man. This is a Noise International RCA press. Love this album. Kiska is a genius when it comes to singing. He just perfect. Obviously, this is a classic. And lastly, from the Ron pile, this is the Horna, the Hexen split. You know, pretty excellent finished black metal split. This thing, I think it's kind of rare. I don't know. I don't care. I like it. I'm keeping it. I'm not getting rid of it ever. So, it's very cool to pick it up, though. You know, definitely Horna and Behexen are two standouts in the finished black metal scene. A lot of bands try to ape their sound, but really well written, aggressive, lo-fi black metal on the same country. The New Clandestine Blaze with what the hell's the name of this thing? I don't even remember the name of it. Tranquility of Death. You know, I've got every single Clandestine Blaze album, and I used to really, really, really love this project, and I still do like it. But every year a new album comes out, I tell myself, I really probably don't need to buy that. But, you know, the collector scum in me can't leave a hole in the collection, so I always buy the New Clandestine Blaze. And I'm always surprised that Miko does something to twist his sound a little bit. Like, I think this album's got some keyboards in it, not like, Aha or Flock of Seagulls keyboards, but just really dark and minimal keyboards that amplify the songwriting. And this is another great record, man. He hasn't put out anything crappy, even though some of the shit might get a little samey over the years. It's good stuff. And yeah, I probably don't need any more Clandestine Blaze until he puts out a new one, and I'll probably buy that too. But Tranquility of Death, definitely another strong release from Mikko Espa. Lastly, how long have I been going on here? I don't know. Lastly, I finally got around to listening to this. This was sent to me by my buddy Pat over at Ground Zero Salem. The Impious Crusade by Impiety. Now, typically, I'm not a huge war metal fan. It really takes, I have to take it with a grain of salt. And there's a few bands that stand out in the genre, but these guys started off as a black metal band, and over the years have gotten far more deadly and aggressive and death metal minded. And I went into this thinking, obviously I appreciate him sending me the VCLT. It's very cool that he didn't have to do that. But I was thinking, this may not sit well with me, but it did. I was quite surprised at how good this is. Really technical, fast, precise, aggression with meaning, if that makes any sense. The songs aren't in, just knuckle dragging, knock you over the head with blast beats, barbaric blast beats. There's actually structure and worth in these songs. There's 5 songs on this. It's an EP. It just amazes me how much, like this is a 5-song EP and Hell's Headbangers put it out on a gatefold. It's just amazing how they roll out the red carpet for this stuff, which is admirable for sure. But yeah, that's it. That's a pile. We covered a lot of ground. And thanks for sticking with me. I know I haven't been around too much, but that's the way it goes. I get busy and sometimes I just forget, or I'm just not motivated to do a video, but I'm trying to get back on the horse, and I hope to be here Friday with an album of the week. Hopefully that's something that appeals to you guys and gives you a little more content in between my collection updates. But for now, that's it. Thanks a lot for tuning in. You guys all have a good one. See ya.